Good morning. Today is the 21st of June. I would have said the longest day of the year, but apparently yesterday was the longest day of the year for the first time in 200 years. So sadly the years are getting short, the days are getting shorter again. But let's go through our solstice watch list for today. On my screen is the ES, so we're looking at the 1 hour time frame. But before we do anything, let's take a look at the news to see what could move the market today. So no news until 9:45, so keep an eye on 9:45. We've got PMI, that gives it 2 out of 3. We also have home sales at 10, could also move the market. So that's really, keep an eye on 9:45 and 10. So me personally, I may not trade today. I'm off camping later and I'm just sorting out my equipment right now. But I'm going to do my levels, put my alerts in, and if I'm around then I'm going to take a look at the charts. So let's look at the ES. We had a nice sell-off yesterday, pulled back up into the moving averages, didn't quite break above this area confluence, which was watching, that was an area we was watching for a short. 55, 52, let's open up my levels from yesterday. So I was watching 52, 51, 50 bounce. Hang on, these are old ones. Okay, so yesterday we were looking at 55.60. So 55.60, around that area for a bounce. That didn't, well, you could have got a small bounce. I did take a 3-hour trade on that. And then also around that area I looked for the break and retest, which I also took a 3-hour trade. It was a inverse head and shoulders setting up, and which you can probably see, where was it yesterday, 4 AM. There, look at that, I'm not inverse, head and shoulders pattern set up, and I took it on the break and then the retest, and I drove it down here. Got out at 3R, and then I trailed out at 3.5R in the end, but it would have gone on to my 5R target, which would have been this pivot there. So decent trade. I'm working on still back testing whether I should hold or trail out the 3R, but I quite like the idea of trailing the 3R and then just leaving the market as it is. So 2 decent 3R trades yesterday. Well, over 3R on one of them. The other one hit 3R, took 50%, and then pulled back and I stopped out on the other 50%. So technically that was a 1R trade, but a 3R trade on the next one. So let's look at the levels today in the hourlies. A couple of good areas we can watch. So the first area, we've already bounced there once in the pre-market, is this area. I quite like 55.25 for the bounce. It's an area of confluence as well. Let's open up. So we've got tops of all these pivots over here, got the bottoms of these pivots over there. So, and we've got the we've got this 200 moving average coming into that region as well. So I do quite like the bounce around this area, 55.20 to 55.25. You could also say we're putting in a bit of a wedge pattern, and we can either do one or two things. It's either going to keep consolidating, compressing, and it's either going to break down, pull back, or we're going to see it break out. So these are 2 plays I'm watching as well. So the bounce at the pre-market low, I'll be looking for, let's just draw the line in. So I really will be looking for it to break through that area, come back, retest, and then push out. Hopefully it's not too late. I'm only going to be trading around for the first hour today. Or we're looking for the breakdown, come back, retest, and push down. We've got 55.50 as a level, and you can see here it's quite a area to watch. So that area we can watch for a bounce or a target, and also got the 200. So it's going to be hard to go short, but we will keep an eye on SPX as well and see what SPX is doing, and if SPX, we'll get onto that in a second. And then the next bounce area I quite like is this area here. Again, it's a zone. We've got tops of pivots over here. So this region here, so it'd be 40, 54.62 area. So kind of similar area I was watching yesterday for the bounce. That's an area from yesterday. I don't know why my levels weren't drawn up. Sometimes I find it strange that TradingView doesn't save my levels. And that's it really. And obviously we've got this region here. We can watch area of demand, 5400. So that's the three areas I'm really watching for a bounce. I probably won't be around if we do get down to these areas. It'll be a big move down. As for trend continuation, because we are still in an uptrend, you can see we're trending up. Like the break and retest of pre-market high, and then watching yesterday's high for break and retest into all-time highs, but be wary, we might be setting up for a double top. Volume wise, a bit more volume we've had over the last few days as well, not quite ending volume. But we did sell off. We seem to get more volume on the sell off and less volume when we're just going sideways or just slowly moving up. So let's just come up, mark that level as well. So 55, there we go, 55.50 break and retest. That's an area, that's a number we've been watching. Didn't have it on my list yesterday, but that's an area we can watch for a break and retest long. So three levels really. Break and retest of pre-market high, a bounce down at pre-market low, or a break and retest of pre-market low, which is also yesterday's low. And then if we do sell off, we could probably watch this area as well, 55.50 down to 55.90. So let's just put a level in there, and then we've got a bounce down at 54.62, and that's it really. Let's look at SPY. Same levels as before. We can watch for the bounce down in this region, 542 for a bounce, break and retest a pre-market high at 546 area, 544, 545.50, and then we watch for rejection, yesterday's high, which is almost at all-time highs. So let's watch that area for the rejection, and then area confluence, this area here. So I'll put a level there based on that pivot. Big area of volume as well, and we've got a little, this region we can watch for a bounce at 533. Okay, so let's look at SPX. See where we open, we've gapped down, so we'll probably be opening around the 50 moving average area. Let's get rid of that trend line, we no longer need it. So 5400, watch that area for a bounce. So if we're looking for bounces on ES, make sure we're above 5400 if we get down to that area. And then if we're looking for a rejection, we can watch 5500 there, which is a nice psychological number. Double top from yesterday, we talked about it yesterday as well, and it rejected it perfectly. So let's keep an eye on that again. Hopefully somebody took that level. Let's mark it off. And if we're above it and we're looking for a short, then be a bit wary, because it would be harder trying to go short once we break that level. That's being an uptrend. Looking at NQ next. I still quite like the levels. See, these are all, I cleared all these drawings yesterday and they're back. I don't understand TradingView sometimes. So I said, I remember doing, I removed drawings. Let's put some levels in. I have to contact their support because it gets quite annoying having to keep redoing levels every day. So I like to keep them for historic reasons. So 19,945, we watch that for a bounce. We've got 200 just below as well, and then the break and retest of pre-market high. And let's just hit save and see whether that saves it. So break and retest of pre-market high and the break above 20,000, which is where we are right now. So we kind of bounced in that area. QQQ. Again, we've already bounced in the pre-market, so I do still like that area. Break and retest pre-market high, and then watch for a rejection up in this region. Bit of volume over there to the left as well, so we could see that as a rejection area. And then if we sell off, then we can look for a bounce. See, I only quite like this area down here at 460. We've got the fibs levels, and they're invalid now anyway. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, 460 is probably the next area I like. There's hardware, I will need more levels. So down here for the bounce if we get down to that area. Okay, crude oil next. look at that, we didn't reject that area. We tried to. Hopefully someone took those trades in the last few days. Broke through, held, and now we broke through and retested that zone. So look at that for a retest. And these lines, this region's been in place for weeks, and it broke out, bounced twice, bounced a second time. So now the only play I like is to break and retest long pre-market high, and we've got a potential target of 82.50 and 83 and then 83.50, and that's it. And then we're looking for a bounce. I quite like the bounce at the bottom of this zone where we are before, 80.50 for the bounce. Gold. Let's take a look at gold. Still in this uptrend. The only bounce I consider would be that region there. Let's remove drawings again. That region there for the bounce. So yesterday's low area, or we can watch the pre-market high, yesterday's high for the break and retest. And then our next rejection area will be this area here. Let's mark it off. It's all the way up to that pivot over here, 2410 to 2400. Obviously you've got the break and retest of pre-market high. RTY, which is the E-mini Russell 2000. So we're holding this level. We held it on Tuesday, held it yesterday, holding it again today. There's only a certain amount of times you can knock on the door before it finally breaks through. So I quite like the break and retest of pre-market low, maybe yesterday's low to be safe. You could see this as a bit of a reversal pattern where it's starting to curve over. So I like the break and retest below this region with a target of 2019 and then this trend line maybe 2000. And then if we break over yesterday's high, let's watch for a break and retest long into this point of control of 2080. And then YM, which is the Dow Jones. Look at that, couldn't quite get over it, tried, pushed out, rejected, and it's holding that level. So if we try again, let's watch the break and retest of pre-market high into nomads. There's not much volume above, so if we can break it over this pivot and close over it, preferably we close over it in a 60-minute. Let's look for the break and retest long. And then if we pull right back, we can watch for the bounce off of this point of control area, 39,300 down to 39,431. So basically this region here, what we've had marked off probably, we can readjust that now to around that area. And that's 39,350. And then finally we'll look at Bitcoin. Tried again yesterday to break this area. Couldn't get through, rejected off the 200 moving average as well, and now like I've been saying, the next area is 60, so broken 64. We talked about 64 being the next bounce area, basically area of confidence there and a pivot up here. Tried it there. When was that? That was on Tuesday. Thursday it rejected back up there. Look at that, right on the level we had drawn as well, so hopefully someone took that. 66,486. And then the next area for the bounce, and these levels are based on the daily, but the hourly is just as good. It's hard round here. It's got to be this area, 61. And what I'm looking at for the most touches, volume, still a bit of volume there, so we've got touches, pivots there, lots of consolidation around there. So we can watch 61 to 62,000 for the bounce, and then we can then draw in the trend line. Exactly what we did yesterday. Look at that, came right to it. And that's our trend line, so we can watch for the rejection off of this trend line as well. If we move up into this region, area of confidence as well. Maybe this is another good touch if we get up to there again. We would have to break the trend line for that, back down. Or if we're looking for a inverse head and shoulders pattern, we could have the shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder there, and the break and retest of the neckline once we break that trend as well. Okay, that's it. Let's go back to ES, see what's moved in a few minutes, and we'll just quickly review order flow. Once it loads, No, nothing really. So still the same levels before. Watching for a break and retest of pre-market high. It's an area of confidence. We can watch it also for a rejection. Still below the 50 moving average on hourly. Bounce around 5,500 as well, and then a bounce at 55, 54.60. Let's flick over to the order flow screen. Thank you for watching, and I will be